The rain that night in Seattle was not just rain. It was a deluge of misery, pounding against the pavement like the fists of an angry god. Lightning tore the sky apart, illuminating a solitary, fragile figure standing outside the iron gates of the Blackwood estate. Her name was Luna Vale. At 22, she should have been worrying about university exams or dating, but instead, she was worrying about survival. Beside her sat 2 trash bags, the sum total of her life's possessions. Her clothes were soaked through, her hair plastered to her pale face, shivering violently, not just from the cold, but from the humiliation that burned in her chest like a swallowed coal. Just 10 minutes ago, the doors of her childhood home had slammed shut in her face. "Get out, and don't come back until you agree to the marriage." Her stepmother, Mara, had screeched, her voice shrill enough to shatter glass. Standing behind Mara was Bella, Luna's stepsister, wearing a silk robe that cost more than Luna's entire wardrobe. Bella was smirking, twirling a strand of her perfectly curled hair. "Oh, Luna, don't be so dramatic," Bella had laughed, sipping hot cocoa while Luna stood in the drafty doorway. "It's a good match. The Sterling family is the richest in the country. You're marrying into royalty. You should be thanking me for giving you my spot." "If it's such a good match, why don't you marry him?" Luna had whispered, her voice trembling. "Because he's a cripple," Bella snapped, her face twisting in disgust. "Silas Sterling was in a car accident 3 years ago. His legs are crushed. He's disfigured. He's impotent. He's a monster who locks himself in his dark mansion and throws things at servants. I am destined to be a star, Luna. I can't be tied to a wheelchair. But you're used to serving people. It suits you." "Your father's company is bankrupt," Mara interjected coldly. "The Sterlings offered a $50 million dowry. We already spent it. So, you either marry the cripple or your father goes to prison for debt evasion. Choose." And so, Luna chose. She chose to save the father who had barely looked at her since her mother died. She chose to be the sacrificial lamb. Now, a black Maybach pulled up to the curb, splashing muddy water onto her shoes. The window rolled down. An elderly butler with a face carved from granite looked out. "Miss Luna Vale?" "Yes," she chattered, her teeth clicking together. "Get in. Master Silas does not like to wait." Luna dragged her trash bags into the trunk and climbed into the back seat. The interior smelled of expensive leather and something colder, antiseptic. As the car drove away, Luna looked back at her family home. She saw Bella in the window, waving a mocking goodbye. Luna wiped a tear from her cheek. "Goodbye," she thought. "I will survive. I always do." The drive to the Sterling mansion took an hour. It was located on a cliff overlooking the ocean, isolated, imposing, and gothic. The gates creaked open like the jaws of a beast. The house was dark, save for a single light on the second floor. "Go to the master bedroom," the butler, Mr. Henderson, said as he opened the door. "He is expecting you." Luna walked into the house. It was silent, too silent. The air was cold. She climbed the grand staircase, her wet sneakers squeaking on the marble. She reached the double doors at the end of the hall. She took a deep breath, knocked, and pushed them open. The room was vast and shadowed. Heavy curtains blocked out the moonlight. In the center of the room sat a man in a wheelchair, his back to her. He was facing the fireplace, where a fire crackled, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. "Close the door," a voice said. It was deep, rough, like gravel grinding against steel. Luna obeyed. She stood there, dripping water onto the expensive Persian rug. "Hello, I am Luna." The wheelchair slowly turned. Luna gasped. Bella had said he was disfigured. She wasn't lying. The left side of his face was covered by a silver mask. The right side was breathtakingly handsome, with a sharp jawline and a piercing blue eye that seemed to look right through her soul. But his legs were covered by a thick blanket, lifeless. "So," Silas Sterling said, looking her up and down with open disdain, "you are the substitute. The Vale family sent the unwanted daughter instead of the promised one. Do they think I am blind, or do they think a cripple doesn't deserve the best?" I am not unwanted," Luna lied, lifting her chin. "I chose to come." "Liar," Silas scoffed. He rolled his wheelchair closer. The sound of the rubber wheels on the wood was ominous. "You are here because they sold you. $50 million. That is your price tag. Do you think you're worth that much?" Luna felt the sting of tears, but she refused to let them fall. "I'm hardworking. I can cook. I can clean. I will take care of you." "Take care of me?" Silas laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "I don't need a nurse. I need a wife. But look at you. You look like a drowned rat. Go shower. You smell like poverty." He threw a towel at her. It hit her in the face. Luna caught it. She wanted to scream, to run, but she had nowhere to go. She walked into the bathroom. Inside the bathroom, she turned on the shower to mask her sobs. She scrubbed her skin until it was red, trying to wash away the insults. She didn't have any pajamas, so she put on a large white shirt she found in the cabinet. It hung off her small frame. When she came out, Silas was still by the fire. He was holding something in his hand, a small, old, faded photograph. He hid it quickly under his blanket when he saw her. "Come here," he commanded. Luna walked over. Her legs were shaking. "My legs," Silas said, pointing to his blanket. "They hurt. The rain makes the phantom pain unbearable. Massage them." Luna knelt before him. She hesitated. She had never touched a man before. She reached out and touched his knees under the blanket. They were cold. She began to massage, her small hands working the muscles. She expected him to yell, to kick her, but he sat silently. She looked up at him. His eyes were closed. The tension in his jaw had relaxed. For a moment, he didn't look like a monster. He looked tired, lonely. "Is this pressure okay?" she whispered. Silas opened his eyes. He looked at her. For a split second, the ice in his blue eye melted. He looked at her not with hate, but with a strange, intense longing, a recognition. "You have good hands," he muttered. "Better than the last one. She vomited when she touched me." "Why?" Luna asked innocently. "You're just a person. Pain is not contagious." Silas froze. He stared at her. "Pain is not contagious." Those were the exact words a little girl had said to him 15 years ago in an orphanage garden when he had scraped his knee and everyone else laughed. "It's her," Silas thought, his heart hammering against his ribs. "It's really her. The girl who gave me the candy bar. The girl who promised to marry me when we grew up." He had looked for her for years. When he became the CEO of Sterling Group, he searched every orphanage record. He found out she was adopted by the Vale family. He orchestrated this marriage not to humiliate the Vales, but to get her. But he didn't know she had been treated so poorly. He didn't know she didn't recognize him. He couldn't tell her yet. His enemies were everywhere. His accident was an assassination attempt by his own uncle. If they knew he could walk, if they knew he loved her, she would become a target. He had to protect her, and the best way to protect her was to make the world think he hated her. "Get up," Silas snapped, masking his emotions instantly. "That's enough. I'm tired. Sleep on the sofa. Do not dare to climb into my bed." Luna scrambled up. "Yes, sir." She curled up on the sofa, pulling the thin towel over her. She was exhausted. Within minutes, she was asleep. Silas waited until her breathing evened out. Then, he silently rolled his wheelchair to the side of the sofa. He looked down at her sleeping face. He reached out, his hand trembling, and gently brushed a wet strand of hair from her cheek. "I finally found you, my moon," he whispered. Then, a miracle happened. Silas Sterling, the man who was supposedly paralyzed from the waist down, slowly stood up. He stood tall, 6'3" of pure muscle and power. He walked to the closet, took out a thick, warm duvet, and gently covered Luna. He tucked her in. He walked to the window and looked out at the storm. His phone buzzed. It was a text from his assistant. "Sir, the Vale family is celebrating at a club. They are spending the dowry money. Miss Bella is telling everyone her sister is probably being tortured by the Cripple right now." Silas's eyes darkened. A cold, terrifying smile played on his lips. "Celebrate while you can," he whispered to the night, "because tomorrow I start collecting the debt, and the interest will be very high." He walked back to the wheelchair and sat down. He had to keep up the act, but the game had changed. Now he wasn't just playing for survival, he was playing for her. The morning sun pierced through the heavy velvet curtains, hitting Luna's face like a spotlight. She groaned, stretching her limbs, expecting to feel the cold, hard leather of the sofa and the thin, damp towel she had fallen asleep under. Instead, her fingers curled around soft, thick down. She blinked her eyes open. She was covered in a luxurious cashmere duvet, the kind that cost more than a car. It smelled of cedarwood and expensive cologne, Silas's scent. She sat up, confused. Had he covered her? The man who called her a drowned rat and threw a towel at her face? She looked over at the wheelchair. It was empty. She looked at the bed. Silas was sitting up, his back against the headboard, reading a tablet. He wasn't wearing his mask. The scars on the left side of his face were visible in the daylight, silvery lines tracing from his temple to his jaw. To Luna, they didn't look horrifying. They looked like cracks in a beautiful statue. "You're awake?" he said without looking up. His voice was cold again, devoid of the midnight tenderness she thought she might have imagined. You drool when you sleep? It's disgusting. Luna touched her mouth self-consciously. It was dry. He was lying. Did you cover me with this blanket, sir? The house is drafty, Silas snapped, turning a page on his screen. If you get sick and die, the police will investigate me. I don't need the hassle. Fold it and put it away. Then go downstairs. My breakfast is late. Luna scrambled up, her heart sinking slightly. Of course. He didn't care about her comfort. He cared about his convenience. She folded the blanket neatly and hurried out of the room. The kitchen was a gleaming expanse of stainless steel and marble. Standing by the stove was Mrs. Gable, the head housekeeper. She was a stout woman with eyes like black beads and a permanent scowl. She had served the Sterling family for 30 years and was fiercely loyal to Silas's uncle, the man who wanted Silas dead. Who said you could come in here? Mrs. Gable barked as Luna entered. Mr. Sterling, Silas, he wants breakfast. Luna stammered. Master Silas eats at 8 a.m. sharp. I prepare his meals. You are just the wife on paper. Don't think you can start giving orders just because you spent one night in his room. Mrs. Gable slammed a pot onto the counter. Here, peel these potatoes. The other maids are busy. If you want to eat, you work. Luna looked at the mountain of potatoes. But he said he's hungry now. And I said peel. Mrs. Gable grabbed a potato peeler and shoved it into Luna's chest. You are a bought bride. You are lower than a servant here. Do you understand? Luna took the peeler. She was used to this. At the Vale house, she did all the chores while Bella took piano lessons. She stood by the sink and started peeling. Her hands were still raw from the cold rain the night before. Suddenly, the sound of rubber wheels on marble echoed in the hallway. Mrs. Gable's face changed instantly. She snatched the peeler from Luna and shoved a tray of freshly cut fruit into her hands. Hold this! Don't just stand there looking useless! Silas rolled into the kitchen. He was dressed in a sharp black suit, his mask back in place. He looked at Mrs. Gable, who was bowing obsequiously, and then at Luna, who was holding the fruit tray like a shield. Mrs. Gable, Silas said, his voice low. Why is my wife wearing an apron? Oh, Master Silas, Mrs. Gable cooed fake sweetness. She insisted. She said she wanted to learn how to serve you properly. I told her it wasn't necessary, but she is so eager to please. A bit clumsy, though. Silas rolled closer. He looked at Luna's hands. He saw the red mark on her chest where Mrs. Gable had shoved the peeler. He saw the tremble in her fingers. Is that true, Luna? Silas asked. Did you insist on peeling potatoes instead of eating breakfast? Luna looked at Mrs. Gable's threatening glare. She knew if she told the truth, the housekeeper would make her life hell when Silas wasn't around. I just wanted to help, Luna whispered. Silas stared at her. He hated her weakness. He hated that she was used to being bullied, but more than that, he hated anyone who dared to touch what was his. Mrs. Gable, Silas said calmly, pour me a cup of coffee. Yes, sir. Mrs. Gable rushed to the coffee pot. She poured a steaming cup and brought it to him. It's too hot, Silas said. Pour it out. Sir? I said, pour it out, on your hand. The kitchen went dead silent. Mrs. Gable paled. Master Silas, surely you joke. Do I look like I joke? Silas's eyes flashed with a terrifying light. You shoved a sharp object into my wife's chest. I saw it on the security camera feed from my bedroom. You think because I am crippled, I am blind? You think because I am in this chair, I cannot hurt you? Mrs. Gable trembled. Sir, she is Mrs. Sterling, Silas roared, slamming his fist on the armrest, and you are fired. Get out of my house. If you are not gone in 10 minutes, I will have security throw you off the cliff. Mrs. Gable dropped the cup. It shattered, hot coffee splashing her ankles. She screamed and ran out of the kitchen. Luna stood frozen. He had defended her? He had fired the head housekeeper for her? Silas turned his wheelchair to face her. Don't look at me with those puppy eyes. I didn't do it for you. I did it because she was annoying, and I hate liars. Now, make me an omelet, and don't burn it. He rolled away, leaving Luna standing in the wreckage of the kitchen, her heart beating a frantic rhythm. He was cruel, yes, but he was also fair. Maybe Bella was wrong about him. 2 hours later, the front doorbell rang. Mr. Henderson, the butler, walked into the living room where Luna was dusting a vase. Old habits died hard. Madam, he said, his face unreadable, your family is here. Luna dropped the duster. My family? Your stepmother and sister. They say they are here to visit the bride. Luna's stomach twisted. Tell them I'm not home. Too late, sister, Bella's voice rang out. She marched into the living room, her heels clicking loudly on the hardwood floor. Mara followed her, looking around the mansion with greedy, calculating eyes. Wow, Bella said, running her hand over a velvet sofa. This place is creepy, but expensive. I guess selling you wasn't a bad deal after all. Where is the monster? Hiding in the attic? He is in his study, Luna said quietly, stepping back. What do you want? Mara sat down on the main armchair without being invited. She pulled a document out of her Hermes bag. We're not here for tea, Luna. We need you to sign this. Luna looked at the paper. It was a transfer of deed. My mother's house? Luna gasped. That's the only thing she left me. You promised I could keep it if I married Silas. Plans change, Mara smirked. Your father made some bad investments with the dowry money last night. We need more cash. This house is prime real estate. Sign it over and we sell it. No, Luna said, her voice shaking. I won't. You took everything else. You took my college fund. You took my jewelry. You can't take her house. Oh, look at her, trying to be brave. Bella laughed. She walked over and poked Luna hard in the shoulder. Listen to me, you little leech. If you don't sign, Dad goes to jail. Do you want that on your conscience? Besides, what are you going to do? Ask your cripple husband for help? He probably can't even stand up to pee, let alone stand up for you. Don't talk about him like that, Luna shouted. It surprised even her. Bella's eyes widened. She raised her hand. You dare yell at me? She swung her hand to slap Luna. Luna flinched, closing her eyes, waiting for the impact. It never came. I believe, a deep voice cut through the air like a blade, that touching my property is a violation of the law. Bella's wrist was caught in midair, not by Luna, but by Mr. Henderson, the butler. And behind him, rolling silently into the room, was Silas Sterling. He looked terrifying. He was wearing a dark gray suit, his silver mask gleaming in the sunlight. His presence filled the room, sucking out all the air. Even seated, he seemed taller than anyone else. Let go of me, Bella shrieked, pulling her hand away from the butler. She looked at Silas with disgust. So, you're the husband. You really are hideous. Silas didn't even blink. He looked at Mara. Mrs. Vale, you sold your daughter for $50 million. The contract stated that all ties were severed. Why are you here harassing my wife? It's a family matter, Mara scoffed, though she looked nervous. We just need her signature on a property transfer. It belongs to her father anyway. It belongs to her mother, Silas corrected. He picked up a remote control from his lap and pressed a button. A large TV screen on the wall flickered to life. It showed a live feed of the Vale family's bank account. It was currently reading 0 hours. Mara screamed, What is that? Where is the money? The $50 million. Frozen, Silas said calmly. I had my bank flag the transaction as suspicious. Until I verify that my purchase, Luna, is in good condition, the funds are withheld. And seeing as you are currently trying to assault her and steal her property, I would say the condition is not met. You can't do that, Bella yelled. We spent half of it already on credit. Then I suggest you start returning your handbags, Silas said coldly. Now get out. If you ever come near Luna again or try to take her mother's house, I will not just freeze your accounts. I will buy your debt, foreclose on your current home, and put you on the street. Do I make myself clear? Mara was shaking. She grabbed her bag. You're crazy. Come on, Bella, let's go. We'll deal with this later. You'll regret this, Luna, Bella spat as she ran out. You'll rot in this house with this freak. The door slammed shut. Silence returned to the mansion. Luna stood there, stunned. She looked at the TV screen, then at Silas. You froze the money? I don't like being scammed, Silas said, turning off the TV. They sold damaged goods. You're too skinny. You cry too much. Not worth $50 million. It was an insult, but Luna heard the protection underneath it. He had saved her mother's house. He had stood up to Mara. Thank you, she whispered. She walked over to him and knelt down, placing her hand on his armrest. Thank you for saving me. Silas looked down at her. Her eyes were shining with tears, but this time they were tears of gratitude. He felt a sudden, sharp pain in his chest, not from his injury, but from his heart. He wanted to pull her into his lap. He wanted to kiss her. He wanted to tell her that he had bought the house under a shell company yesterday just to keep it safe for her, but he couldn't. Not yet. Don't touch me, he said gruffly, pulling away. I have a headache. Your family's loud. Go to your room. We have to attend a gala tonight. A gala? Luna blinked. The Grand Sterling Gala. My uncle is throwing it. He thinks I'm too ashamed of my face and my legs to show up. He plans to announce himself as the acting CEO tonight. Silas's eyes turned predatory. I intend to prove him wrong, and you will be my prop. You will push my wheelchair. You will wear the dress I bought for you, and you will look at me with absolute adoration, even if it kills you. Do you understand? Yes, Silas, Luna said. Good, now go. Henderson will bring you the dress. Luna ran upstairs. Silas watched her go. Once she was gone, he stood up from the wheelchair. He walked to the window, his stride powerful and steady. He pulled out his phone. Prepare the car, he told his head of security, and make sure my uncle's surprise is ready. Tonight, we take back the company, and tonight, I introduce my wife to the wolves. He touched the glass, looking at his own reflection. The mask stared back. Tonight, the world would see the monster, but only Luna would see the man, or so he hoped, because what Silas didn't know was that his uncle had a surprise too, a secret from Luna's past that was about to walk through the ballroom doors and shatter everything Silas had built. The dress lay on the bed like a pool of midnight sky captured in silk. It was a deep, shimmering navy blue, dusted with thousands of tiny crushed diamonds that caught the dim light of the chandelier and fractured it into a galaxy of sparks. It was strapless with a sweetheart neckline and a skirt that flowed like water. Next to it sat a pair of glass slippers, actual crystal heels that looked impossible to walk in, yet beckoned like a challenge. Luna stared at it, her hands trembling. She had spent her life wearing Bella's hand-me-downs, clothes that were either too big, too small, or stained with things Bella had spilled on purpose. She had never worn anything new, let alone anything magnificent. Master Silas selected it himself, Mr. Henderson said, standing by the door like a sentinel. He said that if you are to push his wheelchair, you must look like the queen pushing the king, not a maid pushing a patient. Do not disappoint him. Luna touched the fabric. It was cold and smooth. I don't know how to wear this. I don't know how to be a queen. You do not need to know, Henderson said, his voice softening just a fraction. You just need to hold your head high. The wolves will smell fear. If you bleed, they will eat you. If you bite back, they will bow. Master Silas needs a partner tonight, Mrs. Sterling, not a victim. A partner. The word echoed in Luna's mind. Silas had saved her mother's house. He had humiliated her stepfamily. He was cruel, yes, but he was the first person in her life who had used his power for her, not against her. She took a deep breath. I will be ready in 10 minutes. Downstairs, the air in the foyer was thick with tension. Silas sat in his wheelchair near the door, checking his watch. He was dressed in a tuxedo that fit his broad shoulders perfectly, cut from black velvet that absorbed the light. His silver mask had been polished to a mirror sheen, covering the scars on the left side of his face. His right eye, cold and blue, stared at the staircase. He was nervous. He hadn't been nervous in 10 years. He wasn't worried about his Uncle Marcus. He could destroy Marcus with a single phone call. He was worried about her. He was worried that this world, his world of sharks and vipers, would break her. Then, he heard the click of heels. He looked up, and his breath stopped. Luna descended the stairs. She didn't look like the drowned rat from the night before. She didn't look like the scared girl peeling potatoes. She looked ethereal. The dress hugged her slender frame, accentuating a grace he hadn't noticed before. Her hair was swept up, revealing her long, elegant neck, a neck adorned with a single massive sapphire pendant that Silas recognized. It was his mother's necklace. Henderson must have given it to her. She looked fragile, yes, but there was a fire in her eyes now, a determination. She reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped in front of him. She looked terrified, but she didn't look away. Is this acceptable, sir? She whispered. Silas gripped the armrests of his chair so hard the leather creaked. He wanted to stand up. He wanted to walk over to her, take her in his arms, and tell her she was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. He wanted to tell her that he had bought that dress 3 years ago, hoping one day he would find her. But he couldn't. The house was bugged. His uncle's spies were watching. Acceptable, Silas grunted, forcing his voice to be flat. At least you won't embarrass me. The necklace is heavy. Don't lose it. It's worth more than your life. Luna's shoulders slumped slightly, but she nodded. I understand. Shall we go? Push me, he commanded. She walked behind him, gripping the handles. They moved out into the night where the black Maybach waited like a hearse. The Sterling Grand Hotel was a fortress of gold and marble in the center of the city. Tonight, it was the hunting ground. The paparazzi lined the red carpet like a pack of hungry hyenas, their cameras flashing like lightning storms. When the car pulled up, a hush fell over the crowd. Everyone knew the rumors. Silas Sterling, the fallen genius, the cripple, the monster. They were waiting to see his humiliation. They were waiting to see the bought pride. The door opened. Luna stepped out first. The flashes went wild. Who is she? Is that the Veil girl? She looks like a movie star. Luna felt blinded, dizzy, but she remembered Henderson's words. Do not bleed. She turned and helped Mr. Henderson lower the wheelchair ramp. Silas rolled out into the spotlight. The whispering started instantly. Look at his face. Look at his legs. Useless. He used to be a god. Now he's a wreck. Silas stared straight ahead, his expression unreadable. Push, he said to Luna. Luna gripped the handles. She felt a surge of protectiveness. These people, they didn't know him. They didn't know he liked his coffee at a specific temperature. They didn't know he had covered her with a blanket. She lifted her chin. She walked with a regal stride, pushing him through the sea of judgment as if he were a king on a throne, not a cripple in a chair. Inside the ballroom, the atmosphere was suffocating. Hundreds of guests in diamonds and tuxedos turned to watch them enter. In the center of the room, holding a glass of champagne, stood Marcus Sterling, Silas's uncle, the man who had cut the brake lines on Silas's car 3 years ago. Marcus was a tall, fleshy man with a smile that looked like an oil spill. He spread his arms wide as Silas approached. Silas, my dear nephew, Marcus boomed, his voice echoing. I didn't think you would come. We were just discussing your retirement. The crowd tittered nervously. Silas rolled to a stop in front of him. Retirement, uncle? I wasn't aware I was old. I thought I was just injured. Injured, broken, same thing. Marcus laughed, patting Silas's shoulder condescendingly. The board and I agree. The Sterling Group needs a leader who can stand on his own 2 feet. Literally. It's hard to run an empire from a seated position, don't you think? Roosevelt did it, Silas said calmly, and he won a world war. What have you won, Marcus? Besides second place in your divorce settlement? A gasp rippled through the room. Marcus's smile faltered. His divorce had been messy and humiliating. Sharp tongue, Marcus hissed, leaning down. But tongues don't sign checks. Tonight, I am announcing the merger with the Omnicorp. It will dilute your shares to nothing. By midnight, you will be a minority shareholder in your own company, and there is nothing you can do about it. Is that so? Silas tapped his finger on his armrest. We shall see. And who is this? Marcus turned his predatory gaze to Luna. Ah, the purchase. $50 million for this? She's pretty, I suppose, but does she speak? Or did you buy a mute to match your own silence? Luna felt the blood rush to her face. She looked at Marcus. She saw the cruelty in his eyes, and suddenly, she remembered Bella. She remembered Mara. She remembered a lifetime of being treated like furniture. She stepped forward, moving from behind the wheelchair to stand beside Silas. She placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of solidarity, of possession. I speak, Luna said, her voice clear and ringing like a bell. And I would rather be mute than speak with a forked tongue like yours, Mr. Sterling. My husband may sit, but he stands taller than any man in this room, especially you. The silence was absolute. Someone dropped a glass. It shattered. Marcus turned purple. You insolent little... Silas started to laugh. It was a low, dark sound. He reached up and covered Luna's hand with his own. Careful, uncle, Silas said, looking at Luna with a strange, fierce pride. My wife bites. Marcus glared at them. Enjoy your moment. It will be your last. He stormed off toward the stage. Silas squeezed Luna's hand. That was foolish, he whispered. You made him angry. He was hurting you. Luna whispered back. I don't need protection. Everyone needs protection, Silas. Silas looked at her. His heart was pounding so hard he thought it might crack his ribs. She defended me. No one had defended him in 3 years. Everyone just pitied him or feared him. But she stood by him. Attention, everyone! Marcus was on the stage now, holding a microphone. I have a special announcement, but first, we have a surprise guest. Someone from the past of our lovely new bride, Mrs. Luna Sterling. Luna froze. A surprise guest? The doors opened. A young man walked in. He was handsome in a rugged, messy way. He wore a cheap suit that looked out of place. He looked nervous, sweating. Luna's eyes widened. Liam? It was Liam, her ex-boyfriend from high school, the one who had dumped her to date Bella 2 years ago, the one who had stolen her savings and vanished. Luna! Liam cried out, running toward her, acting a perfect scene of heartbreak. Luna, my love, why did you do it? Why did you leave me? He fell to his knees in front of her, grabbing her skirt. Get off me! Luna tried to pull away, but he held on tight. Everyone! Liam shouted to the crowd. This woman, she's a monster. She was pregnant with my child. She aborted it last week just so she could marry this rich man. She threw away our love for money. She is a gold digger. The crowd exploded. Cameras flashed blindingly. Pregnant? Abortion? Silas married damaged goods? No! Luna screamed, tears springing to her eyes. That's a lie. You left me. You stole my money. I was never pregnant. I have proof. Liam pulled a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. A hospital receipt from last week. Marcus smiled on stage. This was the kill shot. Ruin Luna's reputation, humiliate Silas, and prove that Silas was too incompetent to even vet his own wife. Silas, look! Marcus shouted. You paid $50 million for a woman who kills her own children to get to your wallet. Are you going to let her stand there? Silas sat motionless. He looked at the weeping Liam. He looked at the crumpled paper. Then he looked at Luna. Luna was shaking. She looked down at him, her eyes pleading. Silas, please, you have to believe me. I never... She expected him to push her away. She expected him to believe the lie. Everyone always believed Bella. Everyone always believed the lies. Silas slowly reached into his tuxedo pocket. He pulled out a white handkerchief. He handed it to Luna. Wipe your face, he said softly. You are ruining the makeup I paid for. Then, he turned his chair toward Liam. You say you have a receipt? Silas asked, his voice calm, carrying across the room without a microphone. Yes, look. Liam waved the paper. Mr. Henderson, Silas said, project it. Henderson grabbed the paper from Liam and placed it under a document camera by the DJ booth. The image appeared on the giant screen behind Marcus. It was a receipt from a clinic. Patient, Luna Vale, date, Ost 5th, procedure, termination. The crowd gasped. It looked real. Oct 5th, Silas mused. Interesting. He pulled out his phone. He pressed a button. The screen changed. It was now showing CCTV footage. It was dated Oct 5th. It showed Luna. She wasn't in a clinic. She was in a library. She was stacking books. She was there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is footage from the public library, Silas said. Luna volunteers there. As you can see, she is quite visibly not having a medical procedure, unless she can be in two places at once. Liam paled. That footage is fake. Is it? Silas swiped his phone. The screen changed again. This time it showed a bank transfer. Sender, Marcus Sterling. Recipient, Liam Miller. Amount $100,000. Date, yesterday. The room went dead silent. Marcus dropped his microphone. And here, Silas continued, his voice turning into a growl, is a recording. A voice played over the speakers. It was Marcus's voice. Just go in there, cry, say she killed the baby, make Silas look like a cuckold. I'll give you the cash. Liam scrambled up, looking for an exit. He made me do it. I didn't want to. She's a good girl. I lied. Security, Silas said. Take Mr. Miller to the police station. I believe fraud and defamation are crimes. Guards dragged the screaming Liam away. Silas turned his chair slowly to face the stage, to face Marcus. You tried to frame my wife, Silas said, on my wedding debut. You thought I was weak. You thought I was broken. Silas rolled closer to the stage. You mentioned a merger with Omnicorp, Uncle? Silas asked. Yes, Marcus stammered, trying to regain control. It's a done deal. The papers are signed. Actually, Silas smirked beneath his mask. I bought Omnicorp this morning, using a shell company. I am now the majority shareholder. And as the majority shareholder, I am canceling the merger. And I am firing the CEO of Sterling Group. You can't fire me, Marcus shrieked. I just did. Security, escort my uncle out. He is trespassing. The crowd watched in shock as Marcus Sterling, the man who thought he was king, was dragged off his own stage. Silas sat in the center of the ballroom. He was the undisputed ruler. He looked at Luna. Are you okay? He asked. Luna was trembling. She looked at the man in the wheelchair. He had dismantled a conspiracy, bought a company, and cleared her name in 5 minutes. You knew? She whispered. You knew they would do this? I know everything, Silas said. I told you. I don't buy damaged goods. I vetted you. I knew you were innocent. He held out his hand. Dance with me. Dance? Luna blinked. I can lead, Silas said. Luna took his hand. The music started, a slow waltz. Silas held her hand and guided her movements with the wheelchair. He spun her. He moved with a grace that defied his disability. It was a beautiful, strange dance. Luna looked into his eyes. For the first time, she didn't see the cripple. She saw the man, and she felt something dangerous blooming in her chest. Hope. But the night wasn't over. As the music reached a crescendo, a loud snap echoed from the ceiling. Luna looked up. Directly above Silas, the massive crystal chandelier was swaying. A cable had snapped. A laser dot was visible on the chain for a split second. "Silas!" Luna screamed. She threw herself at him. She didn't think. She just dove. She pushed the wheelchair hard. The chandelier fell. Crash! Glass exploded like a bomb. The floor shook. Dust filled the air. "Luna!" Silas's voice was a roar of pure terror. The dust settled. The wheelchair was tipped over on its side, safely out of the impact zone. But Luna was lying on the floor, surrounded by shattered crystal. A shard of glass was embedded in her shoulder. Blood was soaking the blue dress. She wasn't moving. "No," Silas whispered. He looked at his legs. He looked at the crowd watching him. He looked at his unconscious wife. He made a choice. "Call an ambulance!" he screamed, and then, in front of 500 witnesses, in front of the cameras, in front of his enemies, Silas Sterling stood up. He kicked the wheelchair aside. He walked over to Luna. He scooped her up in his arms, standing tall, his legs strong and steady. "If she dies," he roared at the terrified crowd, his mask slipping off to reveal his furious face, "I will burn this entire city to the ground." He carried her out, leaving the world in shock. The secret was out. The king could walk. And he was very, very angry. The emergency room doors burst open with a violence that made the triage nurses scream. Silas Sterling strode in, his tuxedo stained with blood, Luna's blood. He was not the invalid in a wheelchair anymore. He was a force of nature, a terrifying titan of rage and desperation. He carried Luna in his arms as if she were made of spun glass, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated terror. "Doctor!" Silas roared, his voice cracking the sterile silence. "I need a trauma team, now." "Sir, you can't be back here," a young intern stammered, stepping forward. "Please fill out the forms at the—" "I own this hospital!" Silas shouted, his eyes wild. "If she dies because you are asking for paperwork, I will bury you under this building. Save her." The head surgeon, recognizing the billionaire and shocked to see him standing, rushed over. "Mr. Sterling, bring her to Trauma 1 immediately." Silas laid Luna gently onto the gurney. Her face was as pale as the sheets, the blue dress ruined, the shard of crystal still protruding from her shoulder. She looked so small, so lifeless. Silas gripped her hand, his knuckles white. "Don't leave me," he whispered, his voice breaking, oblivious to the nurses staring at his legs. "You promised to dance with me. You can't leave before the song ends." "Sir, we need to operate," the surgeon said urgently. "You have to let go." Silas didn't want to. Letting go felt like letting her die. But Mr. Henderson, who had followed in the second car, gently placed a hand on Silas's arm. "Master Silas," the butler said softly, "let them work. You have done your part. You saved her." Silas slowly released her hand. As they wheeled her away, he stood in the middle of the hallway swaying slightly. The adrenaline was fading, replaced by a crushing weight of fear. He looked down at his hands. They were covered in her blood. He walked to the waiting room and collapsed onto a plastic chair. He put his head in his hands. "Sir," Henderson said, standing over him, "the news is out. Every channel is broadcasting the footage, the miracle recovery. The fake cripple. The board of directors is calling. The shareholders are in a frenzy. They know you can walk." "Let them talk," Silas muttered, not looking up. "I don't care. Burn the company. Burn the reputation. Just tell me she's going to wake up. She's strong, sir. She survived the Vale family. She will survive this." 3 hours passed. 3 hours of hell. Silas paced the room like a caged tiger. He didn't sit, he didn't eat, he just watched the door. Finally, the surgeon emerged. He looked tired but calm. "Mr. Sterling?" Silas was in front of him in a blink. She's stable." The surgeon smiled. "The glass missed the artery by 2 millimeters. She lost a lot of blood and she has a concussion, but she will recover. She is in the recovery room now. The anesthesia is wearing off." Silas let out a breath he felt he had been holding for 3 years. "Can I see her?" "Yes, but be gentle. She is confused." Silas walked to the room. He hesitated at the door. He looked down at his legs. He was standing. He had revealed his greatest secret, his greatest weapon to save her. But now he had to face her. He had lied to her. He had let her push his wheelchair, let her think he was helpless, let her defend him against bullies while he sat there. Would she hate him? He pushed the door open. The room was dim. The steady beep of the heart monitor was the only sound. Luna lay in the bed, looking tiny among the pillows. Her shoulder was bandaged. Her eyes were fluttering open. "Silas?" she rasped, her voice dry. Silas walked to the bedside. He stood there, towering over her. Luna blinked, trying to focus. She saw a man standing next to her, tall, broad-shouldered. She frowned. "Doctor," she whispered, "where is my husband?" "I am here, Luna." Luna froze. She knew that voice. It was deep, gravelly, the voice that had commanded her to peel potatoes and then saved her mother's house. She looked up past the waist, past the chest, to the face. The silver mask was gone. His face was fully exposed. The scars were there, yes, but they didn't mar his beauty. They enhanced it. But that wasn't what shocked her. It was the fact that he was standing. Luna's eyes went wide. She tried to sit up, wincing in pain. You are standing." Silas didn't move. "Yes, but the wheelchair, the accident, you can walk?" "I healed 2 years ago," Silas said quietly. "My paralysis was temporary, but my enemies, my uncle, they wanted me dead. As long as I was a cripple, they underestimated me. They got sloppy. It was my disguise, my armor." Luna stared at him. The realization washed over her. The man she had pitied, the man she had massaged every night, worrying she was hurting him, the man she had defended against the world because she thought he was vulnerable. "You lied," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. "You let me push you. You let me think you were broken. You let my sister mock you. You let me pity you." "I had to." Silas took a step closer, reaching for her hand. It was for protection. Protection? Luna pulled her hand away. Or manipulation. "Was I just a prop, Silas? Like the wheelchair? A part of your act? The devoted wife pushing the poor cripple." It made for a good story, didn't it? "No!" Silas's voice cracked. He sat on the edge of the bed, his arrogance gone. "Luna, listen to me. I didn't marry you for the act. I didn't save you from your family for the act." "Then why?" Luna demanded, crying now. "Why me? Why pay $50 million for a girl you didn't know?" "Because I did know you," Silas shouted, unable to hold it back anymore. He reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out the old, faded photograph he had hidden the first night. He placed it in her hand. Luna looked at it. It was a Polaroid from 15 years ago, a grainy picture of a young boy in a wheelchair looking angry and sad sitting in a garden. And standing next to him, handing him a half-eaten chocolate bar, was a little girl with messy pigtails and a bright, defiant smile. Luna gasped. The memory hit her like a physical blow. The orphanage volunteer day. She was 7. Her mother had taken her there. She saw a boy crying because he couldn't play soccer. She gave him her chocolate. "You," Luna whispered, the boy with the blue eyes. "You told me pain isn't contagious," Silas said, his voice thick with emotion. "You told me that even if my legs didn't work, my heart still did. You promised to marry me when we grew up so I wouldn't be lonely." He covered her hand with his. "I never forgot you, Luna. When I took over the company, I searched for you. I found out your father had remarried, that you were being mistreated. I wanted to save you, but I couldn't just walk in and take you. My uncle would have used you against me. I had to buy you. I had to make it look like a transaction so they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that you are my weakness." Luna looked at him. The cold, cruel CEO was gone. In his place was the lonely boy from the garden. "You loved me?" she asked, her voice trembling. "For 15 years? I waited for you," Silas said. "And when you walked into my room that first night, soaking wet and scared, I wanted to stand up and hold you. It killed me to treat you coldly. But I had to make sure you were safe. I had to finish my war with Marcus." "And tonight?" Luna asked. "You stood up tonight." "Because the chandelier was falling," Silas said simply. "And I would rather reveal my secret to the world than let a single hair on your head be harmed. The war doesn't matter. The company doesn't matter. Only you." Luna looked at him. The betrayal was still there, but it was being overwhelmed by something else. He had blown his cover, a cover he kept for years, just to save her. "You idiot," she whispered, a tear rolling down her cheek. "You ruined your plan." I saved my world, Silas replied. He leaned in. Forgive me, Luna, for the lies, for the coldness. Let me spend the rest of my life making it up to you, standing up. Luna looked at his lips. She nodded slowly. Silas closed the gap. He kissed her. It wasn't a tentative kiss. It was a desperate claim, a promise. But the moment was shattered by the sound of the door creaking open. Silas pulled away instantly, his body tensing. He stood up, shielding Luna. A nurse walked in. She was wearing a mask and carrying a tray of medication. Time for your injection, Mrs. Sterling, the nurse said, her voice muffled. Silas frowned. The doctor said she just needs rest. What injection? Painkillers, the nurse said, walking closer. She didn't look at Silas. She looked only at Luna. Her eyes were cold, dead. Silas's instincts, honed by years of surviving assassination attempts, screamed at him. He looked at the nurse's shoes. They were muddy, heavy combat boots, not hospital sneakers. Stop, Silas commanded. The nurse didn't stop. She lunged. In her hand, a syringe gleamed, but the liquid inside wasn't clear. It was a bright neon green. Die, the nurse shrieked. It wasn't a nurse. It was Bella, Luna's stepsister. Bella had disguised herself. She had lost everything, her money, her reputation, her fiancé. She blamed Luna. Bella, Luna screamed. Bella thrust the needle toward Luna's IV line. Silas moved. He didn't need a wheelchair anymore. He moved with the speed of a viper. He caught Bella's wrist inches from the IV port. You again, Silas growled. Let go, Bella screamed, her mask falling off. Her face was twisted in madness. She ruined my life. She took my money. She took the rich husband. It should have been me. You had your chance, Silas said, tightening his grip until Bella's wrist cracked. You called me a cripple. You rejected me. I didn't know you were handsome, Bella wailed, kicking at him. I didn't know you could walk. It's not fair. Give him to me, Luna. Swap back. He is not a toy to swap, Luna shouted, sitting up despite the pain. And he is not yours. Bella managed to switch the syringe to her other hand. She wasn't aiming for the IV anymore. She swung wildly at Silas's neck. Silas didn't dodge. He grabbed her throat with his other hand. He lifted her off the ground. Bella kicked and gagged, the needle falling from her hand and shattering on the floor. The green liquid hissed as it ate into the linoleum. Acid. You tried to kill my wife, Silas said, his voice calm and terrifying. In my hospital, in front of me. Silas, don't kill her, Luna cried. Don't become a murderer for me. Silas looked at Luna. He looked at the thrashing woman in his grip. He wanted to snap her neck. It would be so easy. But Luna was watching. He threw Bella across the room. She crashed into a cart of medical supplies and slumped to the floor, coughing. Henderson! Silas roared. The butler burst in, followed by 2 security guards. They saw Bella on the floor and the acid smoking. She tried to inject Luna, Silas said. Take her. Not to the police. Take her to the basement facility. I want to know who gave her that acid. Bella isn't smart enough to synthesize neurotoxin. No basement, Bella screamed as the guards dragged her away. It wasn't me. It was the man in the shadows. He gave it to me. He said if I killed her, he would give me the 50 million back. What man? Silas stepped forward. He didn't have a face. Bella babbled, hysterical. He called himself the architect. He said the chandelier was just a warning. He said the Sterling bloodline ends tonight. Silas froze. The architect. He knew that name. It was a myth. A ghost story in the corporate underworld. The man who orchestrated the car crash that paralyzed him 3 years ago. Silas thought his uncle Marcus had hired a random hitman. But if the architect was involved, this wasn't just about family greed. This was a vendetta. Bella was dragged out. The room fell silent again. Silas turned to Luna. His face was pale. Silas, Luna whispered, who is the architect? Silas walked to the window. He looked out at the night sky. The media helicopters were circling the hospital now. The world knew he could walk. His enemies knew he could walk. The element of surprise was gone. He is the man who killed my parents, Silas said softly, and he just declared war on you. He turned back to her. His eyes were burning with a fierce, protective fire. We have to leave. Now. The hospital isn't safe. The mansion isn't safe. Where can we go? My private island, Silas said. But we have to move fast. He knows we are here. Suddenly, the lights in the hospital flickered and died. The emergency generators didn't kick in. Pitch black. He's here. Silas whispered in the dark. He moved to the bed. He scooped Luna up into his arms, ignoring her cry of pain. Hold on to me, Luna. Do not let go. Silas, I'm scared. Good, Silas said, kicking the door open into the dark hallway. Fear keeps you alive. I'm going to get us out of here, and then I'm going to hunt him down. He began to run through the dark corridors carrying his bride, while the sound of heavy military-grade boots echoed from the stairwell coming for them. He started to walk away. He was doing the hardest thing he had ever done. He was letting the bird out of the cage because he loved her too much to keep her if she didn't want to stay. Silas! Luna stood up. She ran to him. She grabbed his hand. He stopped. He didn't turn around. Don't make this harder, Luna. You idiot, she said, her voice shaking. You genius, stupid, arrogant idiot. Silas turned. He looked at her. I don't want a normal life, Luna said, stepping closer. I lived a normal life. It was miserable. I was lonely. I was abused. She reached up and touched the scars on his face. I don't want the house. I don't want the 50 million. I want the man who covered me with a blanket when I was sleeping on the sofa. I want the man who stood up from his wheelchair to catch a falling chandelier. I want the boy from the garden. Luna, Silas warned, his voice rough, I am a dangerous man. The architect is still out there. Being with me means looking over your shoulder. Then I'll look over yours, and you look over mine, she said. She reached into her pocket and pulled out something. It wasn't a ring, it was a candy bar. The same brand she had given him 15 years ago. I'm proposing, she said, a smile breaking through her tears. Silas Sterling, will you marry me? For real this time? No contracts, no debts, just us. Silas stared at the candy bar. He stared at her. The walls he had built around his heart for a decade crumbled into dust. He laughed, a sound of pure, unburdened joy. He picked her up and spun her around. You are proposing with chocolate? You really know my weakness. He set her down, but didn't let go. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. I beat you to it, he said. I bought this 3 years ago. He opened the box. Inside was a ring with a blue diamond the color of his eyes, surrounded by a halo of smaller diamonds shaped like a crescent moon. My moon, he whispered. Yes, I will marry you, every day for the rest of my life. He slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. They kissed as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of violet and gold. It was a kiss of equals. Of survivors. Epilogue. 3 months later, the Sterling Group headquarters. The boardroom was full. The shareholders were nervous. They had heard rumors of a hostile takeover attempt by a shadowy conglomerate known as the Foundation. The doors opened. Silas Sterling walked in. He didn't need a cane. He walked with the confidence of a predator. But he wasn't alone. Walking beside him, wearing a sharp white suit that matched his black one, was Luna Sterling. She wasn't hiding behind him. She was walking in step with him. They sat at the head of the table. Gentlemen, Silas said, meet your new co-chairwoman, my wife. The board murmured. Any objections? Silas asked, raising an eyebrow. Silence. Good. Now, about this hostile takeover. Silas pressed a button on the table. A holographic screen appeared. It showed a map of the world with red dots blinking in Switzerland. We tracked the architect, Luna said, her voice steady and commanding. She had learned fast. He's hiding in the Alps, and he thinks he's buying our stock. What he doesn't know, Silas continued with a smirk, is that Luna just bought his bank 10 minutes ago. We bankrupted him, Luna finished, a dangerous glint in her eyes. The board stared at them, the Cripple and the Cinderella. They had become the king and queen of the corporate world. Meeting adjourned, Silas said. My wife and I have a date. We're going to eat chocolate and plot world domination. They walked out of the building, hand in hand. As they reached the car, Mr. Henderson opened the door. Sir, madam, a package arrived for you. No return address. Silas stiffened. Luna squeezed his hand. Open it, Silas said. Henderson opened the box. Inside was a single white chess piece, a king, but it was broken in half, and a note. Game not over. Silas looked at the note. He looked at Luna. Most couples would be terrified, but Silas and Luna Sterling just smiled. It was the smile of hunters who had just spotted fresh prey. He wants to play, Luna asked, tossing the broken king into the trash. Let's play, Silas said. He kissed her, and they got into the car, driving off into the city that they owned, ready for whatever war came next.